Please join me in welcoming Atari's Chief Scientist and Vice President, Dr. Alan Kay. Good morning, Dr.
How are you? See, I'm representing the jeans and sandals who create all the actual products.
Tell me something. What does it mean for a company to set up a corporate level research?
I think it means that they plan to be around 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and they mean to lead, not to follow.
Why did you come to Atari?
Mainly because of Ray Kassar and Manny Girard. Ray asked me to dream and Manny asked me to take risks. And I think Atari is the only place where the finest in research can actually be brought into the consumer marketplace.
Alan, what will the future be?
Well, I think it's going to be lots of fun. But you know, the big money makers of the 20th century surprised everybody. The automobile, television, telephone, and of course video games and home computers weren't predicted by market analysis or looking at the needs and wants of consumers, because consumers didn't know what they wanted in these big hitters until they actually had them in their hands. So I think for research, the best way to predict the future is to really invent it ourselves.
Means that it's all yet to come.
Well, I don't think so, because consumer price points force most things to be sold for under $1,000. That means that many of the consumer items we're going to see in the next few years were actually invented some years ago in the research lab. It takes an amazingly long 10 years to take a product from its first birth in the research lab into a consumer level product. For instance, when I was at MIT in 1962-63, I saw the first video game. It's called Space War. In 1972, Nolan Bushnell brought it to the marketplace as an arcade game. In 1965, the first personal computer was built. And it wasn't until 1975 that it became a consumer product. So I believe that we're going to see a lot of the future by looking slightly back in the past. You know, I love this Yar's Revenge commercial that Jan showed, because it really brings forth what people in the research domain want to do. We really want to sit in a chair and wave our arms and gesture and say, let there be a photon energy field, and let there be this, and let there be that, rather than grubbing around writing machine code all the time. So here is a system done at MIT that does this for real. It was done a few years ago, and it's controlled completely by speech and gesture. Let's watch.
Hotel, the Del Monte Hyatt. Move the Del Monte Hyatt to the Bahamas. Change your voice.
As you wish.
Create a green sailboat.
Where?
There. Name that next year's meeting. Move next year's meeting.
Where?
To Jamaica.
Where?
To Jamaica. Create a red cruise ship.
Where?
There. Name the cruise ship. Corporate research. Delete corporate research.
When could a system like this be sold?
In the next few years.
Who's going to build it?
Well, I just happened to hire all the people who did this when I came to Atari.
You mentioned that games are fantasy. Where will games go next?
Well, I think fantasy is a very important theme because it connects very deeply with human needs. It's the need to go to a simpler, more controllable world. It's not just games, it's sports, and music, theatrics, science, and I think that this is why Atari's video games are not a passing fad, but actually appeal deeply to something that's been with humans for hundreds of thousands of years.
You also mentioned fantasy several times. What is this for?
Yeah, I think as far as games as fantasies, I think the sky is the limit. You know, reminds me that Howard Washaw is who's a programmer of Yars Revenge that you saw in the commercial, and also of E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And the first time he ever met Steven Spielberg, he walked up to him and said, "I have the game that's going to make your movie famous." And I think that illustrates that the movie makers and the games makers are achieving parity now, and I think that one of the most interesting advances in games in the future is going to be the combination of the two forms. The interactive movie game, in which the process of looking at a movie is mitigated by also interacting with it. So we can imagine in the not too far distant future a James Bond environment that obeys James Bond rules, and in which you can be the hero, and if you jump the hero off the cliff, the system has to figure out how to save him before it hits the bottom without too much slow motion. I think that before that we'll see simpler forms like Saturday morning cartoons and other games, interactive games that have great graphics.
What about advances in graphics? I mean, isn't that what Atari is all about?
Well, we certainly have the best graphics right now, but I think the future is going to be fantastic. As Manny mentioned, our combination with Lucasfilm is going to make us the leaders for many years to come. I showed this segment that's coming up in England, and although it wowed everybody, one of the reactions I got from a person in the crowd was, well, we expect great things from computer graphics. So I'd like to show you the kind of computer graphics that is in the research labs right now, in the movies, and will be in the home the next few years. By our friends at Lucasfilm, and it really shows the imitation of creation itself. It's the Genesis bomb sequence from Star Trek II, and a Genesis fire spreads across the surface of the planet, creating life from death. This is turned down by the model makers as being too hard to do, but computer graphics people said, let us take a whack at it. And here we see a transformation of the entire planetary surface done completely by computer graphics. Let's watch.